You need to shut the fuck up when grown folks is talking.
What up, world? It's your boy, Cooley, man.
We got your boy, Killer Keith in the building.
And y'all know what it is. It's time to plug them headphones in, put the kids to bed, and let's begin to listen. It's Grown Ups Talk. Today we're going to talk about 16 Shots, the documentary of Laquan McDonald. Again, we're going to talk about the documentary, 16 Shots. Y'all know what it is. Let's go.
What up, world? What's going on with y'all?
Yo, what up, AK?
It was good, Cooley. What up?
Can't call it, man. Hey, yo, shout out to Don Julio in the building.
Shouts out.
Cut the check. Again, man, cut the check. Y'all been on more episodes than any other motherfucking bottle in here.
Nigga than anybody.
Anybody. More guest appearances than anybody.
Right.
You feel me?
They done a whole nother fucking co-host.
Hey, yo. But y'all know what part of the show this is. This part of the show is dedicated to you, to our fans, our supporters, our listeners, to everybody fucking with us on Mondays as we drop the audios, and everybody fucking with us on Wednesdays as we drop the visuals. It takes a special type of you to appreciate a special type of us, and we appreciate that.
Facts. And you already know the motto. Like, share, and follow.
Huh?
If you didn't do it.
Do it.
Tell a friend and do that shit again.
And y'all stop acting on motherfucking stink.
Right.
If you on Instagram, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere where you could put Grown Ups Talk podcast in your search engine,
What to do, Cooley?
I need y'all to hit that motherfucking link.
Let's get
Hey,
it.
yo, listen, man. By now, y'all should know what it is. If you don't know by now, I need y'all
to go on motherfucking www.spreadshirt.com/grownupstalk
Yeah.
where you can get our merchandise. Now
Yeah.
I'm saying the Grown Ups Talk merch, you get 15% off.
Let's go.
Again, that's www.spreadshirt.com/grownupstalk merch, man.
and cop that shit and stop playing, man.
Facts.
Hey, yo, listen. After that, I need y'all to go over to Instagram. You feel me? Holla at the Queens and Edibles. You feel me?
Facts.
Catch a vibe too. You feel me? Because I need y'all to listen to this and catch a vibe too. You feel me? And then when you're done with that, I need you to go over to Congress Avenue. I need y'all to holla at my guy Bart. You feel me? Get your edge up right. You know what I mean? Get all tight before you head your night over to 631 Middletown Ave, Middletown Cafe.
Okay.
Again, 631 Middletown Ave, Middletown Cafe, where it's always a good time and everybody came out to play. I need y'all to holla at Ski Boy, Nico, and June. Tell them Grown Ups Talk sent you. Have a good night, end it off right, and holla at us, man.
Now, facts. Can you just picture that though? You on your Grown Ups Talk merch. you don't caught a vibe. You feeling good. You looking good. You got your shit right. Tight and shit. And you can go have a good night at motherfucking Middletown Cafe.
I'm telling you, yo. That sound like the motherfucking deal right here.
Right.
Still this shit in time, yo.
Sign me up for Saturday.
Hey, yo, man. Listen, man. Again, shout out to everybody that's supporting us. Shout out to everybody that's been fucking with us. Everybody that's putting everybody else on us. I mean, we appreciate it now. I mean, we know we ain't the only thing in the town, but we know we here. You feel me?
Facts.
Yeah. But, 16 shots, man. We got to talk about this. I know everybody that I talked to before we recorded this didn't really know too much about this.
Right,
They haven't seen the documentary.
Myself,
They don't know. They're not aware. They don't even know what the story is. We was going through it, living through it, and really haven't even heard too much about it. I know it's been all over the news and all of that, but yeah, man, it's a documentary out right now. It's called 16 Shots. It takes place in Chicago. It's about a young man named Laquan McDonald. He was shot on September 25th.
No, he was
my bad.
20.
October 20th. My bad. I'm reading my notes wrong. Nigga trying to come with some notes for this one.
Right.
But he was shot on October 20th, 2014, by the Chicago PD. It was an incident that happened. It was called about a disturbance. A young man was breaking into cars, and the police pulled up on him. And within 30 seconds of being outside of their car, they shot him 16 times and killed the man. But yeah, that's the gist of it.
Right, we're gonna break this shit.
We got to break this shit down, AK. We gotta break this one down, man.
This is a great deal of injustice right here.
Definitely is, bro. Definitely is. So just to throw some fast things out there for y'all, just to catch up, give y'all some little bit of meat to the bones of the story. So Laquan was intoxicated. I mean, they say he was on his body had PCP in his system when they did the blood test on him. He had PCP in the system. He was breaking in the cars, still in their system. The car systems, from what they was told, he did have a knife on him when the police pulled up on him. But he never charged at the police officers. He never came at them in an aggressive or attacking manner. He really didn't even engage with them too much in the incidents in which he was shot. He was actually starting to walk away from them when they released 16 shots on him.
No, facts. And although, I mean, the police, well, the news coverage and the police story was him lunging at the police and them having to defend themselves.
Yeah.
And they felt like their life, well, the officer felt like his life was in danger, which is a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because prior to watching the video, of seeing the actual tape, you know, they kind of build you up for some bullshit. Like, you got the actual activists and shit that's out there and shit.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Will Calloway and shit, because he's one of the activists out there in Chicago that's fighting for this in particular in just case and shit, and as well as many. I see him doing his thing. So, but it's just this particular case is just sad.
Yeah, it's definitely sad because it kind of exposes the system for what we all already know is a layer of the system. I mean, the system works right occasionally. It works wrong more times than we know, coming from our communities. But in this situation here, when everything popped off, the police were in the press saying that it was him trying to attack them, that they felt threatened for their lives. So that's why he released the shots. He shot him 16 times and killed them on the scene.
Well, and just not to cut you off, Cooley, in the actual news coverage, they said that it was only one shot. They only shot him one time.
Yeah.
So,
you're right.
Just to clarify that, and just so you can get an idea of why you need to watch it and what's actually going on in America. So, you can afford to cut you off.
You're right. Because I skipped right over that in my notes. But yeah, there was also some witnesses there who were taken into custody immediately.
Right.
They were held in the precinct for hours because they were not they weren't saying what the officers wanted them to say at the time. They were sticking to their guns on what they actually seen, and it was going against everything that the officers were putting down in their reports.
Right, and before you continue, I just want to give a shout out to those witnesses because they were trying to get out the true story.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so, shouts out to Xavier and Jose Torres and Alma Benitez.
Yep.
But yeah, those three, they like Cooley was saying that they was brung down and being interrogated. You can continue, my boy.
Yeah, I'm glad you kind of going right in there. You picking up everything that filling the holes. I appreciate that.
That's what I'm here for, bro.
But yeah, so shout out to them again because it takes bravery to be able to stand up in those type of situations. Mm-hmm. Like you can fold under that or be so pressured into saying whatever they want you to say that the truth could damn near never come out, which we see a lot of the times. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they was held in a precinct. They were trying to force them to say the same things that they were putting into the reports. They weren't saying it. They was going against it. They was like, yo, no, we've seen everything. And they seen everything once they got to the point of the actual shooting taking place. They seen it once they hit that street. There was videotape of it, of them, the police, following Laquan before prior to the shooting.
And the crazy thing about it is, with the 3 eyewitnesses being there and they trying to, falsify a story upon them. Like they making the witnesses say, "Oh, you only heard one shot." To coerce their whole story. You seen him lunge, and they're denying it in these officers' face and these detectives' face. Like, yo, no. He killed this boy, cold blood.
Right. After
he was shot, they continued to shoot. Like, there was all three of them. I commend them. I take my hats off. And it took a second for them to actually want to come out because they're afraid of the police retaliation.
Right.
That should not even have been a worry. You know what I mean? If the police are there to protect and serve. You know what I mean? That is absolutely crazy. And
the fact that like not only did they have them in the precinct while they doing all of this, they run up in the Burger King in which this happened near, and they deleted 82 minutes of actual footage of what was going on during the whole scene. Like there's 82 minutes of footage from there. They was trying to cover their tracks that way. But lo and behold, they didn't know that there was a dash cam video recording the whole thing from the point of interaction with Laquan to the point of them killing him and shooting him 16 times.
Right.
Like they were trying to erase their tracks that way, but they couldn't do it. Like then there's a whole thing of the cover up because of the running for office going on, the politics that was happening at the time.
Right. It's a whole conspiracy with that right there. Romney Emanuel, I think his name was something like that. Mayor Romney Emanuel.
Yeah.
Something like that. Chicago's mayor around
at the time. Yeah.
So it took place in 2000. It took around 2014. So I mean, you can do your homework with that and. I'm pretty sure I had his name close.
Right.
It was kind of put to the side because of the runoff election. It's crazy because, like I said, shouts out to Will Calloway, the activist there in Chicago, and he was one of the people that was trying to obtain the tape.
Right, because they were trying to initially hold out and say that they didn't have no footage because they was only thinking of the Burger King footage, but then somebody came across the actual dash cam video, and they were trying to push for the freedom of the
Information Act.
Right. They trying to get the
Freedom of Information Act, and not to cut you off, but that was me listening to this documentary. That was my first time hearing about that act, and that was something that I took upon myself to note and store here, and as should you. As a citizen, and know your rights. That you have an actual right to go to the police station, obtain anything, any police report that's public. If it's not under investigation,
if it's been made public already and it's released, then you should be able to see it. Right.
And exactly. If it's not under investigation, you have the right to see it. That's the FOIA, Act, the Freedom of Information Act. So that's powerful. But he wanted to go try to obtain the tape with that.
And they was acting like it didn't exist. They was giving them the runaround. They hired lawyers. They did all types of everything that you could think of to get the video released. They even went to the mayor. They talked to the district attorney to try to get them to do it, and they just blocked everything because of the election that was going on. So they basically was covering it up. And then what they ended up doing was closer to the election. They had sat down with Laquan's family, and instead of them going to court and going through a whole,
they took a settlement.
Yeah, they offered them the settlement.
The state, and it was so quick. Now, first of all, the state that state hasn't never took a settlement prior to that, right?
Right.
So and then this was what the
at least not without being like put through a whole trial and all of that. Like they just jumped straight to the settlement. Like,
right.
They wasn't even like, yo, serve us papers. We gonna like none of that. They was just like, yo, let's sit down with the family and come to a settlement. With the election coming, basically the motive was let's get this put out of the way, under the rug. Let's get this done with. If they get the settlement, that's all they really want. And that wasn't the case. But go ahead, my bad.
No. That's exactly what the case for the state to give the money up. The reason for what them doing, but the family wanted justice.
Right.
I mean, the money was cool, but the family wanted justice. They wanted the person responsible to, pay for his, his consequences and shit. But all in all, it's a sad case. We even have, from the family's lawyer, Jeff Nusland, and even though he's the family's lawyer, his job is to, agree with the family.
Right.
But in his honest opinion, it was first degree murder. Like
Right.
And that's not even what the officer was charged with. He was charged with second degree. So after how long it took? 3 years after his Laquan's death for the officer to be charged.
To be brought up on charges, yeah. Now, just to give a little bit of a background real quick. So DOJ Christy Lopez, chief investigator, investigated 400 different cases of force.
The use of force.
Basically them abusing the people that they're arresting, just using force, like 400 different cases that Christy Lopez had to investigate. So there was 170 investigations of officer-involved shootings, 13 years with no discipline. Nobody, this is over 13 years this is how many investigations was taking place. In those 13 years, there was no discipline given. There was 20 allegations of misconduct. There was 82 minutes. This is going back into the thing. I gotta take better notes, bro. There was a bunch of investigations within these 13 years before this case actually happened, where there was investigations done, there was misconduct reported, there was all of this stuff. They were supposed to be they were supposed to be taken care of or looking into, and nothing took place, like no type of discipline. So this was huge in Chicago, not only because of the cover up, but because of the long history with the community and the things that has been going on, and the relationship with the community and the police department in this manner.
Which is an absolute disgust.
Yeah,
if you see how this young man was gunned down. Now, mind you, the kid is only 17 years old, born September 25th, 1997. For him to be taken away from his mother, his family, it was an outrage in the state. And I'm proud of Chicago for standing up. And it wasn't just African American people.
Yeah. It was it was the whole city coming out. Mm-hmm. Like it did not matter race, creed, kind, nothing. Like it didn't matter. Like everybody seen that, and everybody knew about it, read about it, did their studies. It was in the news so much in Chicago. Everybody came out. Everybody that was pushing for equality and justice to be served, and that came out. And salute to Chicago, Chicago is known to be out there and pushing for the right things and injustices to be served the right way. And you know what I mean. Y'all know what I'm getting at. But Chicago is known to basically have the soldiers on the ground and pushing for the right things to be done. And they actually stood up to that and made sure that we're not gonna step back because there was a settlement. Nah, there's more to it than this. Something more has to be done.
So, just to give them, a few more facts. of the actual shooting. Again, it's called 16 shots. Obviously, the young man was shot
16 times in 15 seconds.
Right.
So my bad for the 30 seconds. It was 16 times in 15 seconds.
Right. The first shot was released within 6 seconds of the officer getting out the car. Like 6 seconds.
That's not even long enough to say freeze, stop, like put your hands up. Like none of the usual nothing. Like nothing. It's just get out, take your firearm out and let go. And let go.
So that shit says a lot. And the fact that when the officer was being tried for his murder,
yeah, we ain't even getting to the meat of it. Go ahead.
Right, yeah. The officer's lawyer, described Laquan McDonald as a monster.
Right. Oh, his exact words was, "This is the part in a scary movie when you walking down a dark alley and then the music just start coming on and then the monster just appears."
Yeah. The sound effect. Yeah, the man, he wasn't a college grad, like.
Yeah, that's the other thing that, like, so what really pissed me off about this, and what I mean, outside of the injustice, and my bad for just jumping in, but you segue right into what I'm right where I'm at with my nose.
Listen, that's the whole the yin and yang of this, right?
Yeah, you feel me? But so the union representative for Chicago PD, and the chief of police at the time, and the lawyer, right? They all tried to, they first of all, the lawyer went to the jury and to the judge and was like, yo, we can't make Laquan out to be the victim in this situation. So the judge ruled that, all right, I'll give you that. You feel me? But then he turns around and make Laquan to look out to be as a monster in this case, right? So bang. So if we can't make him out to be the victim, obviously the defense is going to be he was a monster in the case, right? So the union rep was in the interview in this documentary saying, oh, he was on PCP, he wasn't a college grad, basically hitting him with all of these characteristics that were supposed to be making him or would have made him a better citizen, or like, bruh, because he wasn't a college grad, he gotta die. He gotta get shot 16 times.
His life doesn't matter.
Right. Because he was on PCP and in the video he was walking away, you couldn't give him a just arrest. You had to just automatically shoot him.
Right. I think one of them, was it the union rep that said something about, like, somebody said something about doing the city a favor.
Yeah, it was the union rep, bro.
Yeah,
by taking him out of there.
Right.
Yeah. He was a monster. He was
a 17-year-old boy. Granted, the kid obviously had a troubled life. He got in some trouble prior to his death. Right.
And that's the thing, they use that against people. Like, it don't matter what the history of that person is. In the act of it, like, in what's going on in that particular scene, in that particular time, his history, you don't know his history. Right. You don't know if he's a college grad. You don't know that he's on PCP. You don't know nothing. You know that it's a crime and it's a suspect that you got to take down. But if the first shot put this man down on the ground, the first shot put that man down.
It definitely did. Can I just say this, that, it's frustrating, but you also got to understand, Cooley, and for the fellow viewers, that can't relate to what we are saying and can't understand why they can't relate. Because the reason why is because, we are a product of our environment. We actually know what it's like to live and want to get out.
Right.
Live in
by
this.
any means necessary to get up out of this shit.
Right. So, like, 9 times out of 10, we wouldn't fault someone that's, doing hustling or we will understand. We will understand. It's a means to make it end, and not to justify anybody's criminal activity.
Not at all.
But it's a understanding that they will never understand.
Right.
because
when you look at Jason Van Dyke, right?
Mm-hmm.
The union rep and the lawyer was saying this is a Caucasian male raised up in the suburbs, had little to no interaction with many other races, so he doesn't know the environment in which he's patrolling, he's policing, and has to go out there and do his job. So he's out there, and they're saying that everybody basically in that community to him is a monster. He doesn't know. Every incident or everything that he pulls up to is a stress-filled environment. So they're trying to say because he was in the suburbs, raised in the suburbs, lived in the suburbs, had very little interaction with multicultural environment or diverse environment, period, he doesn't know how to react in those situations. So to all of the incidents that have been reported that other podcasts or other news and media sources have talked about, this backs up everything that has been said. They should not, if you're not from that neighborhood or from that type of environment, you should not be policing that area.
Well,
period.
Yeah, we actually said that on a few of our episodes.
Yeah.
So, you know, that makes plenty of sense because to come in a neighborhood where you don't understand what's going on, you are going to be in a defensive. You are going to be on guard.
Right.
And you always fear what you don't understand.
Exactly, bro.
So for them, it's like we was just saying, you don't understand it because
at all, yo.
You can't relate
at all.
So to put someone in those shoes, to have to police someone in our shoes,
right,
is a total disadvantage on our behalf because but the police killings is just proof in the pudding.
Right.
But, you know, I think, you know, to make the world a better place, you know, if you're going to put these officers in our neighborhood that doesn't understand us, it should be a course of training.
Right. Yeah.
It should be a course of training. You got
to shout out to Monica. She was saying that too on that same episode we was talking about.
Right,
Yeah,
and
she was saying
that's what sparked my idea on that whole thing because it's an absolute great idea. Now, granted, you can't teach someone a whole another culture like overnight.
Right.
And I think, you know, in order to become a police officer, it should take just as long as it does to become a doctor.
Bruh,
the doctor gotta know the anatomy.
Exactly.
You should know
that shit again.
The physicality, like the psychology.
Yeah. Like you gotta understand the environment in which you tend to police or what you are assigned to police. Like, or take the time to get out there and know the community. Like, I mean, and granted, obviously, this isn't the get to know, oh, I know this guy from being on the block type of situation. But it definitely could have been handled in a different way. Like, he could have definitely been given the stop, freeze, hold on, get down, or if he was going to shoot.
He could have even been tased.
Yeah, you could have hit him with the leg and sent him down. Or you could have hit him in the shoulder, sent him down. Like, you feel me? Because so the defense was saying that he lunged at them with the knife. Never lunged at them. When the dash cam video came out, he never lunged. Right. At all.
You can definitely tell that the kid was intoxicated or under some type of influence.
Exactly.
And he wasn't being aggressive with the police at all.
At all. Like, he was feeling his high. That was it.
Right. And like Cooley said, it was an officer following him for 2 blocks prior to him.
Yeah. There was footage.
Jason actually shooting this kid.
Right. There was footage of not only, so when they tried to eliminate that Burger King footage, they didn't know that the dash cam was there, and there was a business that had footage of them actually following Laquan for a block, maybe 2 blocks before the incident where he ended up getting shot. And they were casually following him. They could have took him down then. They was literally like 3 or 4 feet behind him the whole time he's walking, basically to his death. Like, And
follow him to his death.
yeah,
Exactly.
and they did nothing to tase him, to slow him down, to try to bring him justice, to apprehend him at all. Like it was just let's follow him, and then it ended up being to where him and Jason met up at that scene, and Jason just jumped out his car and started letting loose shots.
So, just to give you a gist of, his repercussions, what he, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got that written down here, but I remember it. He was sentenced.
He got charged with second degree murder.
Right. Yeah. He was sentenced 6 years. Only served 3.
Right.
And right, because it must have been suspended at something.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Served 3 years for a cold blood murder.
So when the press was in the courtroom and the family was in the courtroom, they read off that he's guilty. He's guilty for second degree murder. Mm-hmm. They basically say he's guilty for every shot.
16
every
counts.
shot. 16 counts.
Uh-huh.
Every shot they say he was convicted of.
That's 5 or plus years each count.
Every time.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he let loose one, right? But then when it came time to give him his actual sentence,
they dropped all the counts.
They dropped
the 16.
The 16, it turned down to 7, and then it was just basically you serve 3 out of those and you good.
Yeah. Which is absolutely ridiculous, because now I know we're not gonna cover this story, but it pissed me off to know that, and like I said, we're not gonna cover this story, so I don't have the notes, but these 2 kids, was just, convicted and sentenced to 15 years.
No, they was offered a plea of 15 years.
Oh, okay.
And so what happened was it was a house party, right? And at this house party, it was a house party, and at this house party, this is not in the documentary. This is a separate case, but it's very similar. Only difference is these 2 kids grown men now, they did not end up being killed in this situation, but it was injustice done on this one in a major way. And I wish I had.
We're gonna release the clip at the end of our podcast. We'll drop it for you so you can get the gist of it. But yeah, these kids was sentenced to.
They ended up getting 11 life sentences.
11 life sentences.
So 200 plus years.
Nobody was hurt. Nobody was injured. And the people at the actual party,
the homeowner, the witnesses at the party, everybody there came to their defense and said they had nothing to do with it. So when they got brought to the precinct and they were asked to take the plea of 15 years, they said no, we're gonna take this to trial, because they knew good and damn well they didn't do it, and they got witnesses who already said we had nothing to do with it. We were literally just at the party. That's it.
Serving life.
11 lives. 200 plus years.
And you got this guy,
who was on camera.
Right, physical proof.
You got the name of those 2 gentlemen, because I don't want to just speak of just their names. Pull it up real quick.
I do, but it's
we're gonna get y'all them names, but but yeah, this officer was on camera. And I know this narrative is not something that is foreign to us. We've been hearing it for forever. But
give me 2 seconds.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'll get the name for y'all.
Yeah, but this is not a foreign narrative to us. Like, we've been seeing it, especially in these last 5 years. It's been heavily pushed in the press. But on camera, blatantly killing the man. The first shot was the one that put him down, and then 15 shots followed as the man is laying there, and only has to serve 3 years.
He was still a child, bro.
Yeah.
He wasn't even a man. So.
Yeah, but no, but I say a man because that's how they was looking at him. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Even if man or child, like
it doesn't matter.
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
it's
just even
unjust.
worse. That is a child.
Exactly, like 15 shots after the first shot already put him down. The first shot could have been right in the shoulder or wherever it hit him, and that could have been it. Apprehend him, take him down.
Juan Rayfree Jr. and Dupree Glass.
Say that one more time.
Juan Rayfree Jr. And Dupree Glass.
Look those names up, man. Look up their cases and see the injustice we talking about. Like, these are not things just to talk about, because it's wild tension right now between races, or just to say, it's only our race that's being, targeted. But these are the type of things that we have to go through, like, as our community. Simply going out to enjoy your night. Simply going out to enjoy a house party. The people who own the property, the people that were at the party, literally take the stand and say they had nothing to do with the shooting, nothing at all. When they were arrested, no weapons found. When all of this stuff, like, no evidence besides them actually being there, and guess what? They gotta serve 11 life sentences.
In 220 years, bro.
220
years. And the ironic thing about this particular case, guess how old they were?
How old?
17 years old.
God.
The same exact age as Daquan McDonald. The same exact age. Right. Nobody's hurt. Like, and it's just sad because, what the young lady was saying, that, it's all about convictions. That's
right.
That's what it's about for the prosecutors.
Right.
To get the case in, get someone convicted, and move on to the next. These two young men, unfortunately, it was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Mm-hmm.
With actual people.
Witnesses,
right?
On their side, like,
right. Shots was fired, and now they're being charged with attempted murder.
It's crazy, sad. Man. It's sad, yo.
That's sad.
It's sad that even with people saying, I seen everything, they had nothing to do with it. Not just one person, not just two people, multiple people. Mm-hmm. And, Nah, you still gonna get it. The jury and the judge is like, yeah, get them everything. Throw the whole book at them.
Juan Rayfree Jr. and Dupree Glass, man. Just look those people up and just get the story. Like you said, we're gonna,
You know what, yo? You know what? Now that you bring that up, right? Mm-hmm. Literally, after I seen this documentary, 16 Shots, right? I literally go onto Twitter, and there is a man.
Tell Don to come here.
Hey, yo, Don, you've been some instant. There's literally a man who just killed 3 people in his house. I think it was his mom, his sister, and somebody else.
Caucasian guy?
Yeah, Caucasian male. You know what I mean? But when the police arrive, he's butt-ass naked with a knife in his hand, chasing the police officers. My G, like they're playing a game of fucking tag.
Would you happen to know
chasing.
What state this
I don't. I didn't even. I was so disgusted at that point, bro, because of watching 16 Shots, listening to the union rep talk about Laquan the way he did.
He's a menace to society.
Listen to the ex-police chief running for mayor, talking the way he's talking, and then I go on Twitter and then I see this white Caucasian male, chasing a white Caucasian officer with a knife in his hand after he literally just killed 3 people in the house that they're running around.
Now, facts.
And you know they coming at him with pepper spray and tasers. And running for their fucking life. It literally looks like they're playing fucking tag, bro. It literally looks like they're playing fucking tag.
I'm like, bro, like, I believe you 100%. Without even seeing this, I believe you. I've seen a case where a gentleman was talking to the police. I'm assuming licensed to carry. No, that wasn't even put forth into question.
Right.
But as he's talking to the police, he's grabbing for his weapon. Like,
Yeah.
With his hand on his weapon, and the officer was like, "Yeah, like calm down." Like,
right. Talk them down. All of that. Yeah,
Like,
but you could be grabbing yourself on the call to call somebody and shot dead.
Mm-hmm.
You got a bag of Skittles in Arizona.
I was just about to say that. And be shot dead.
And a pack of cigarettes.
You could be selling cigarettes, right?
And
selling
get choked
CDs.
out. Selling CDs and get choked out.
Mm-hmm.
Feel me?
Going to your wedding.
Going to your wedding. Outside of your fucking bachelor party.
Right.
Shot 50 fucking times.
Right.
50 times. And they never not once open the door. Never not once let you roll down your window. They just light up your fucking car because they felt like it.
Yeah, this shit is disgusting.
There's no way we coming out of this community, and granted, we don't live in Chicago. We're from Connecticut. You feel me? This type of shit doesn't happen often, but it's shit. Similar shit happens. You feel me?
Police profiling definitely
Happens everywhere.
What's my man name? That just happened. Even though he just got chased by the police, him and his girl.
Yeah, we got an episode on it.
Yeah.
Justice for Stephanie.
Yeah, exactly.
Go listen to that episode.
Facts.
Happened right here in Connecticut.
Pretty much.
Shit.
Yeah.
Damn near a few miles away from me. Not
So-
even a few miles.
So right, because you were just saying it just don't happen too often, but it does happen.
It does happen.
Now, God forbid this young man, came out this situation with his life.
Right.
But he could have been a very well Laquan McDonald of our state.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because the officer got out.
Well, shit, it wasn't even him. It was Stephanie that got killed. I mean, not pause. I'm sorry, Stephanie, if you hear this, I apologize.
Got shot.
Got shot. But it could have been both of them. I mean, or the way he got out the car.
Like that's what I'm saying.
Right.
You see the video, him stepping outside the car, putting his hands up.
Right.
Was the initiation of why the shots were fired.
Right.
I mean,
Again,
granted,
Steph, my bad.
Yeah,
my
granted,
bad.
Steph was.
I'm sorry.
I mean, the one that actually suffered from any injuries.
Right.
But he was the reason why shots was fired.
Right.
Just him getting outside of his car.
Exactly.
And putting his hands up like, listen, I don't have anything.
Right.
And that almost cost that young man his life,
Yeah.
as well as Stephanie.
Yeah.
So like I said,
his name was Paul.
Paul, right?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, right? And this is now had Laquan McDonald lived, right? And it would just would have been some Paul and
Laquan would have
Stephanie.
been healing from gunshot wounds in jail.
No, had he never got shot, they just shot. He managed to run and matrix it and never got shot, never no injuries.
Right.
Apprehended. You know what I'm saying? Boom. Now he was released and all that stuff. Now, just like Paul and Stephanie, I'm not sure what they did in the prior altercation with the police and everything, but they made it a point. Now, if anybody else, right, that's going through any type of police trouble in this state, in this town right now,
right,
simply for a car chase, you're not gonna make the news.
No,
you're not gonna make no paper.
Not at all.
You're not gonna make no headlines.
Nope.
Now, because it was Paul and Stephanie, and there was just victims of
that brutal shooting,
right, from police officers.
Right.
They again go put their name out in the just make them sound like bad guys.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the thing. Like even like with this documentary, right? When we talk about Laquan, they say, oh, he was on PCP. He didn't graduate college. He wasn't a Harvard grad. Literal quote. He wasn't a Harvard grad. Right.
He was a monster.
Right. You feel me? But then when they talk about Jason, right? They talk about, oh, he grew up in the suburbs.
Right.
He wasn't exposed to a diverse community. Literal quotes out of the documentary. He grew up in the suburbs, was not exposed to a diverse community. Therefore, him being in this situation was high stress, very tense for him, and he just reacted off of instinct out of fear.
So, This is a very great observation, I think, on my behalf that I'm about to say. So
bring it in.
I think that any officer that, you know, kills an unarmed African American or person of color, period, in such a harsh manner, should be tried and trialed as a first-degree murder.
Right.
Reason being, now, by them saying, "Oh, Jason was never introduced to a diverse community, and he grew up in a suburban area,"
right.
That's even more reason for why he should be in jail.
Right.
Because, you know, these kids that's grown up in not a diverse area and suburban areas going to shooting up schools. So the kids that's in the diverse area and in an urban area, we're killing each other, but it's over. You would say territorial situation, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Cooley.
And I mean, no excuse that anybody that listens to this have seen the 16 Shots documentary or have read or been made aware of any of these type of instances should feel that, oh, African American people kill African American people every day. It should be nothing. No, like, it's not even about the race, period. It's about the injustice. Like, you know what I mean? It's if we wanted to take the race out of it, it's the injustice, bro. Like, period. You throw the race in there, you obviously could see the differences between a Caucasian male naked, just killed 3 people in the house that he's chasing you around with a knife on, compared to a man literally walking away with a knife, never lunging at you, never showing no aggression towards you, and he gets shot 16 times. The white Caucasian male is just maced.
Shooting up a church and being taken to Burger King.
Taking to Burger King. Like, I mean, how can you literally listen to these instances and not understand where we're coming from? Because we're not talking about criminal background. We're not talking about people being violent towards the police. We're talking about literal arrests turning into murders because of the color of their skin.
Right, and you know, just so it's clear, it should.
They get it though.
No, they don't. They don't. Go ahead. But just so it's clear, because you know, one would listen to this and say, you know, we got a biased opinion.
Of course, they gonna say that.
Right, but you know, given our lifestyle and where we came from, we would tend to lean more so on, you know, people that grew up like we grew up, because we can relate.
Okay.
Now that's obvious. We can relate. Now, I mean, we wouldn't be able to understand. We wouldn't be able to understand what it's like coming from their behalf.
Right.
But they got a more harsh look at it, where they look at it as, why would a person do such a thing, or how could a person do such a thing, and not actually understanding or knowing why someone would have that reason.
They don't understand the environment.
Right. Because we are a product of that. Yeah. So we can understand how a mother can go into a grocery store and, you know, steal over $600 worth of groceries. Know what I mean? And in order to get away, she knocked down an old lady or something, just running, to get away, knocked down an old lady. God forbid, the lady was seriously injured. And, you know, the prosecutor, of course, if she was ever apprehended, the prosecutor, of course, you know what I mean, it's his job to keep, you know, the scum up the street.
Right.
That's
a literal quote.
Right. Their words, not mine. So their job is to keep the scum up the street, and that's exactly how they will look at it. Now, I feel like, you know, a prosecutor should only be on a case is if they need it. You know what I mean? Because the prosecutor job is to prove the guiltiness. Now, everybody's not guilty.
Right.
So everybody shouldn't deserve a prosecutor.
Okay.
in my own opinion.
I'm right there with you.
Right. So, you know, for someone to get on the stand from our culture and being judged by a jury of his peers of no relation of culture is bias for one.
Yeah.
To have a prosecutor that never understood what it was like to be
in that position right.
is biased.
Right.
So, you know, fuck you if you think we're biased, because we're living in the bias system.
Right, yo.
It's already stacked against us.
And granted, you could say, just don't commit the crimes. But in a lot of these situations, nobody's, even before you can say a crime was committed, they're being gunned down, they're being killed, they're being assassinated, literally. Like, and I'm 100% sure there's gonna be some people that listen to this and they're gonna say, we're tired of hearing this narrative. Well, guess what? We're tired of having to talk about it. We're tired of having to report this type of shit. We're tired of having to see this shit come across our timelines or in our face on the news or in the newspapers for those who still read newspapers. Like, we're tired of seeing it too. But it's not just because, the crimes are being committed. And the crimes that you can say are being committed in these instances don't justify death.
So one of the important facts that I wanted to shoot out there about the Laquan McDonald situation, is the fact that, you know, he was shot 16 times, 7 bullets were recovered from his body, and 9 bullets went through him.
Right.
You know, 9, just reiterate that. 7 bullets was recovered and 9 went through. 50 was shot 9 times.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And lived. He got shot. He was almost shot double that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was literally 2 shots away from doubling.
Yeah.
50's 9 shots.
Right.
And the 9 shots that went through this young man penetrated his body and actually left, and 7 that was actually recovered.
16 shots, man. From a trained shooter. Like, you're literally trained how to shoot in tense situations. You're literally trained on where to aim, how to aim, like
the accuracy.
Right. And if your first shot wasn't a kill shot, but it drops the suspect, you should be able to just throw the handcuffs on that suspect and that be that. We got him. He gonna have to live through that wound while he serves his time. 15 shots following, bro, that's more than just fear. That's more than just fear, bro.
That's hate.
Yeah. Like, and you guys tell us, at what point do we stop looking at these type of things as hate and we start looking at these type of things as, it was just?
Right.
Because these things that we're talking about all sound like way beyond just to us.
If you look at this, and not that we're trying to give you guys everything of the whole story, because we want you to watch it yourself.
Right,
but,
right.
If you look at this documentary, you'll notice that the officer that actually followed Laquan McDonald, sorry that we don't have his name, the officer that actually followed Laquan McDonald for the 2 blocks,
right,
he felt some type of remorse.
Right.
He was actually one of the officers to testify against the city.
Yeah.
And once he did that, my boy Will Calloway said, because he was there for that case, he said at least 2 rows of the officers got up and left. Right, prior to him getting on the stand.
Yeah.
It's only because they don't want to see one of their fellow boys in blue
doing the right thing, basically.
Doing the right thing, going against their word, right?
Yeah.
So, like, it's proof that, you know, that the police department is just a government assigned game.
Exactly.
That's all it is. Because basically, when it comes down to it, they got a code of silence.
Yeah.
They got
and did you see the part of the documentary where they were saying,
the mayor,
what is that? What, a code of silence? There's no such thing.
Right.
Come on.
The mayor finally, got dropped. His balls finally dropped, and once he became elected and everything, and he had to talk about the situation, and the video was released. He said, the police got a code of silence, and the police were shocked.
Right.
Because a code of silence, and how we got a code of silence? We got to report everything to you. It's our job. You are our boss, pretty much.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They try to point the finger right back at them.
But
they forget, it's a saying. When you point the finger, it's three pointing back at you. So whenever you're trying to say you're not guilty to somebody else that's involved in the shit, if you point the finger, there's three fingers pointing back at you every time. Every time. So you're just as guilty as that person. My bad. Go ahead.
No, you good. I'm not sure what the FOP. What is it FOP? It's this dude. He was pretty much his job is. I'm sorry if I got that shit fucked up because I meant to write that shit down too. But his job is basically to cover the story of the police after just basically talk to the news and everything like that and give them a gist of what happened. And this guy that they got, I didn't take his name down purposely because I don't want his name even being reported. I even want Jason Van Dyke no exposure.
To them.
Right. But I intentionally didn't write this guy's name down. But he's in an FOP, whatever that shit is for the Chicago police is basically.
You talking about the union rep thing? The union rep guy?
Not the union rep. It's the gray haired dude. I think it's the FOP. It's something. But basically, he tells stories to the news.
He speaks on behalf of the police department. Yeah.
And he, as well as the chief of police, saying that it was a justified shooting.
Right.
Like even after looking at the actual footage,
all of the evidence,
they still would say it was justified.
You know what I picked up on with this documentary too? The defense attorney, he never really, well, I won't say he never really because I probably missed it, but even when he was talking about the case, like he kind of was like on some shit. I remember him literally saying, "I'm paid to defend the people." So he had to build a case around defending them, like you know what I mean.
Right.
I don't recall him saying if he believed it was murder or if he believed it was just, like you know what I mean. I recall him saying though, like it's literally playing back in my head right now, him saying I am paid to defend these people.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm the hired defense attorney, so I have to defend them. I have to build a case to defend them.
You talking about the family's lawyer?
No, the officer's lawyer.
Okay.
Jason's lawyer.
Right, and right. Even now, if you are one to read body language and that type of analyze a person, you can see that he knows his client is guilty. Like I can see it off his whole demeanor. Like it's just how he answered the question, very lawyerishly, like evading the actual answer, but putting you in a loophole, putting you in limbo, like basically not answering your question, but not evading it at the same time.
Right.
Like I mean, in
the
this
roundabout way of giving you an answer.
Right, beating around the bush.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. But it's a way that you'll be content, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and that shit sucks because you can tell he's a professional. Like he's used to doing this.
So I mean, so we talked about the officer. Jason ended up getting his sentence. I mean, and we talked about the union rep. Well, I talked about how he was basically trying to say that Laquan was basically less of a human, or his life was valued less because he didn't do these specific things. Like he wasn't in college, and he happened to be on drugs at the time, and all of this wild shit that he tried to make it seem as if Laquan basically deserved to die because it was a favor being done to the community, right? But also the chief of police at the time was ended up running for mayor, I mean, and he was preaching, going to these bars where all of the officers and, you know, people that work for the city and know him from being in that position, was basically preaching to them that it's basically the police versus the people. Like he literally stated that young people are being told that they don't have to comply with police officers, and it's putting the Constitution at risk, and we are in anarchy. That is his literal quote.
Well, you know, he has a point, but I don't think it's our people that's putting the Constitution at risk.
Talk. So
Or
I'm not even gonna cut you off on that one. Because I was just gonna say it's that type of mentality that got us at the point that we are, where if there's chief of police or lieutenants or whoever preaching that to the police officers that they're seeing over or overseeing, and they're telling them that, yo, it's literally you versus the community. What do we expect to happen? You know what I mean?
The thing is this, like, you know, America whitewashes everything, and you will only understand where we come from if you were coming from where we came from.
Right.
To get a better understanding, if you haven't came to where we come from, you know, we are conditioned. Our condition has been conditioned.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So with that being said, pretty much, even if we know better, we're not going to do better because we are in a situation to where we know what we're doing is wrong, but you got to do the wrong to get what's right. And it's sad that, you know, that's how we are, you know, conditioned. But if you really look at the overall picture, right, and you see our people and the history of what was done to our people, and who are the real monsters here? We never captured a race and enslaved them. Now, granted, our race has we enslaved our own race.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, but we ain't the only culture that did that. But we haven't completed genocide amongst another race. We haven't took over a land and you know what I'm saying, and pretty much oppressed everybody in that land after we stole them.
Right.
Like, it's just a bunch of shit that you can actually look in the history books and find that will prove that we're not the monsters. We are only trying to survive.
You know, outside of it,
They put the crack in the motherfucking in the streets. They put the crack here.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They put the drugs here. What do you expect? How, like, yeah, like,
It's like this episode literally could turn into so many different
Absolutely.
parts, bro. Like,
Absolutely.
and it's not even if you take race out of it, period. Like, injustice, unjust, period. Like, if this was whatever race you wanted to put there in that situation to make it fit for you to understand, it's still unjust. Like, it's still wrong, bro. It's still wrong. Point blank, period. Like, it's just wrong. Like, it's I don't know how many more ways I can say that. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. Like, I mean, and it's not like, I think the real monster, or the real what was it? What did you say? What was you saying? Fuck it. The real monster in this situation is ignorance. Period. It's ignorance. It's not knowing, not trying to know, not wanting to know. It's just do what you have been taught, do whatever you want, and hope nothing comes out of it. You know what I mean? Like, period. Like, we always come up here and we challenge our community and our people to do better, to change their thinking, to do all of this shit. Like, I mean, so we could change, because we know there's an issue in our community. But we also know that there's issues with the way we're handled by the quote-unquote authority, by the quote-unquote police. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, is not right, like, at all. And this documentary is, if you want any example, this documentary right here is one of the most plain sights of it all. Like, you can just see, you can listen to it. And if you're thinking, or if you're looking at this documentary with an unbiased opinion, or not even unbiased, if you're just calling it right down the middle and being fair to both sides, you can see that there was wrong done here, period. Nobody in this episode has ever said that Laquan was right for doing what he was doing, breaking into cars. We never said any of that. We are only literally speaking about the instant where he was shot and killed. He could have been apprehended a whole nother way, and Laquan Mitchell 16 Shots documentary would not even be a thing. That man could be serving his time. He would be a man right now, serving his time in prison. That officer will still have his job. There wouldn't be all of this press about it. This documentary wouldn't exist at all. It would be a whole nother story, a whole nother narrative. It just, stop looking at people as a race and start looking at people as human beings, because at the end of the day, that's what we all are. We're human. It don't matter what shade I am. It don't matter. It don't matter what my face look like, what my hairstyle's like, how I walk, how I talk, where I come from. It don't matter. I have blood running through my veins like you do. I am a human, just like you are. Where's the respect? Where's the dignity to treat me as such? It's crazy.
Yeah. You know, people got the morals fucked up.
Yeah, they definitely do, bro. Definitely do.
I don't really think, there isn't anymore.
and that's one of the core reasons why we started this podcast. It wasn't to be super political. It wasn't to be super pro-black or pro-justice or pro-political, like anything. Whatever you want to put us under, it wasn't that. There's a lack of morals out here. There's a lack of respect for one another out here. And there's obvious conversations that we need to have as grown-ups that we're not having. And these conversations happen here. This is where you can come to hear those conversations, or yell at your radio because we're missing points. Know what I mean? Or be in your headphones, or in our comments telling us about points that you feel need to be talked about. But there's a definite lack in morals and respect for others' humanity, period. Period, man. Listen, I am Coolie Mane. And this is not the end. I need y'all to take everything from this episode to be this roundabout thought of respecting each other, man. Respecting each other. It don't matter where you come from. It don't matter who you relate to or who you are, what you identify as, what race you are. If you see injustice, don't hesitate to speak up against it. Don't be a part of it. Period. Don't be a part of it, man. It's like the future of us as humans is literally going to exist in how we deal with each other. Mm-hmm. It's not in calling extinction for anybody's race. It's not in hating anybody. It's all in love, yo. We gotta learn to love, and if not love, respect each other enough to not want to take each other out, yo. I don't care who you are, what you relate to, what you identify as. Just Stop the BS, man. Stop the bullshit, man.
Love
Like,
each other, man.
we gotta just turn that love inside. Like, love each other, man. And if you have mental issues, go out there and seek help for that shit. There's nothing wrong with seeking help to fix yourself before you can face the world. But don't be out here hating nobody, man. Stop spreading hate, man. Spread love, man. And speak out against the injustices. It's not the popular opinion, but it's something that we have to do. We gotta turn that corner, man, and walk that journey gracefully with our heads up, chest poked out, ready for whatever comes our way, man. Speak up against these injustices, man. Respect one another, love one another, man. That's what this whole thing was about.
That's it.
You feel me? 16 shots could have been 16 different ways that they could have took that man down and apprehended him and had him serve his time for the crime that he committed, instead of taking his life from him and not knowing whatever he could have turned around his life to be. You feel me? Listen, I am Coolie Mane. You can catch me anywhere under the name of Coolie Mane. If you can't find me there, you can find me anywhere under Grown Ups Talk.
Facts. You know what I'm saying? This your boy Kid Chief signing out, checking off. You know the motto, like, share, and follow. If you didn't do it, do it. Tell a friend and do that shit again. Once again, this is Grown Ups Talk. You can find me anywhere there. If you can't find me there, you can definitely find me anywhere. Grown Ups Talk. Shouts out to Blaze at All-Star Lineup at 450 Forest Road, West Haven, Connecticut, where you can go get your All-Star lined up, man.
Yeah, man. Interview coming soon with that man.
Facts.
You feel me? Talk to us, grown up. Don't talk to us all. Spread that love, man.